Hello, beautiful nerdy stitchers. This is Mev back for an update. It is long overdue. It's been over 2 months since my last video, or at least my last regular update. Yeah, it's been a while, but I'm back and I'm happy to share the things that I've done. It's been a pretty busy 2 months, lots of coming and going, weekends away, pretty busy at work. The African invasion arrived early July, meaning my 5 nephews and nieces coming from Niger together with my sister. And I kind of fell out of my routine, and so I was off. Have you, as you may have seen, off social media, lots of stuff going on, but everything is good, everything is fine, and I'm really, really happy to share all the things. This is take two, I hope. My system's not going to crash like it did 5 minutes ago. My laptop died, so this is a new one, and I just hope everything's going to be okay. First things first, I want to say hello and thank you very much to the people who have commented in my last video and shared their location. And I want to say again, thank you very much for reaching out. I've added your names on the map. Can I do this? Yes, on the world map of Stitchers right here. And so I just want to shout those people out. There's Vicky in Lafayette, Louisiana. There is Linda Stitches in Detroit, Michigan. There's Krista in Northwest Missouri. There's Jane in Stitches in Liège, Belgium. And then last but not least, there's Mary in Toronto, Canada. I now have 150 names on this map, which is crazy insane, and it's a beautiful illustration of how widely spread we are and how we can connect even if we are very far away. So thank you very much for reaching out. And again, if you want to say hi in the comments and then tell me where you live, I'll be more than happy to add your name here. So let me see. Some of you may have seen my little interlude video, which was a private tour of the exhibit we put together with my aunt, the embroidery exhibit. We took it down mid-July. It was really a great experience. I was very, very grateful to be able to showcase my work and that of other ladies from my neighborhood coming from different countries initially. And so it was a perfect way, I think, to gather both close and far the different techniques and crafts that people are enjoying, and so that was awesome. Maybe, who knows, next year we can do that again with more crafters, different works, and I think it started something. I hope so, at least. So that was really cool, and you were there too, as I had taken the world map of Stitchers, and at the opening night some people were really fascinated by how easy it had been to connect with other stitchers. So that was really, really a great fulfilling experience. Now, quick news, excuse me, about the setting is a little bit different today because I've changed some things in my apartment. I've bought some furniture and the couch is not the same, so I can't do the usual setup. And the reason why I bought some stuff is because as of July 10th, this apartment is officially mine. I own this place. I was able to buy it after having rented it for 3 years. It went on sale, and yeah, I'm lucky enough to have been able to buy it. So this is my place now officially. It's mine, together with a huge mortgage, which is fine. I'm extremely happy. I absolutely adore my neighborhood, my apartment. I feel really, really good in here, and so started investing a little bit more, which is very exciting. So this is it. I am celebrating this with you today because, as we all know, this is a pretty important step. So I kind of feel like a grown-up now at 45, which is pretty good. All right, enough rambling. Let's go to stitching. So as I mentioned, I haven't stitched as much in the past 2 months, but things have been done. I have a finish to show, and I've got my whips, which I will go over through one by one, discuss a little bit where I stand. I have a restart as well, which I need to discuss with you. Anyway, let's get onto it. So the first one that I want to show you is the one I have worked on least, and that is with no particular reason except that I was obsessed with the thing that I started and finished in the last 2 months. But anyway, so this one is Our Lasting Friendship by Blackbird Design. It's a booklet with 3 different projects in it, and I'm currently stitching the sampler. You've seen that before. So this is the pattern. May this be the token of our lasting friendship. I'm stitching it for a very special person in my life, and I have converted all the browns and yellows and tans to blues, and I'm using only Gloriana. So I've converted all the threads, and this is where it's at. This is stitched 1/1 on 32 count Grandpa sleeve by Extra U Design, which is this awesome gritty vintagey looking fabric. You can see my fingers next to the stitches. It's really tiny. Let me try and go closer. Since you last saw this, I only added the 2 baskets on the right hand side and left hand side of the pattern. So this here and this here. The rest was already done. There you go. So it's coming along, although very slowly. I still love it, absolutely. I need to get on with it because I'm hoping to get this finish in September. Don't know if it's going to happen because there's ways to go. We'll see. But it's really beautiful. And as I've mentioned before, I absolutely love that the different greens are kind of blending in the background, whereas the blues are really popping out. I'm using, I think there are at least 7 different blues, and then 4 or 5 different greens. Gloriana's, which is magic. It's really a joy to stitch, and with my setup, I can pretty easily stitch this 1/1. So it's really, really nice, but it needs some more work and love. Next up would be l'abood. L'abood is a design that was actually created and gifted to me by my good friend and colleague Audrey. I'm going to show you a mock-up of what it looks like. This has been done inspired by my father's tool shed in his garden, and now my iPad has died, so I can't show you the pattern. Oh well, I'll show you where it's at. The last time you saw it, I had only finished the tool shed. This is done 2/2 on one of the crazy 28 count linens by Tentakulum, the German brand that I fell in love with. So this is where I'm at right now. Now, okay, so the colors, the contrast is way too high compared to what it's like in real life. Like the lighter splotches here are not that light. So yeah, so that's a little bit misleading. Now, so the tool shed was completed when you last saw it, and what I did was work on the wheelbarrow, the flower pot, and then the leafery and the flowers. None of the colors are right, by the way. The flowers are supposed to be a pinkish purple, so it's washed out. That's really annoying. But anyway, I have some misgivings about this. I think that this blends in too much on the crazy fabric. I'm a little bit disappointed, I must say. I don't really know whether I want to unpick everything and do it again with more striking colors, or should I do darker or lighter? I don't know. I'm a little bit on the fence about this. I really want to do this, but I need to find a way to be better at colors here. I don't know. It really gets lost into the fabric, and I know the fabric in itself is completely crazy. So it's a little bit of a challenge, but I think I can do something better than this. I don't know. I'm using heaps of different cottons and silks and what have you. I'm pretty much inventing as I go, but again, this is a little bit too blended in the crazy fabrics. So I don't know. If you have any ideas or thoughts, I would be more than happy to hear what you have to say about this, because I really want to go through with it and then gift it to my dad and his partner. But as it is, I'm not completely satisfied. I will probably try and take some pictures of it and post them on Instagram to give you a better idea of what it actually looks like. We'll see to that. But again, tiny little bit on the fence about this thing. But I really, really want to have it done for him. So we'll see. We'll see. Now, next is that what I want to show you next? Yes. Next is the big piece, the one that I've very recently shown on Instagram that is coming along pretty well. And that is Parchment Tapestry by Rosewood Manor. We know this pattern. It is gorgeous, lovely. And as you may remember, I'm tweaking it a little bit, and I want to show you where I'm at. So this is the pattern that is supposed to be stitched. I am taking out some of the motifs in order to be able to add some writing. And I've talked at length about this in my last video. So this is a mock-up of what I'm actually stitching. I've left out two areas, one right here and one here, in which I will be stitching, writing, whatever the technique will be, excerpt from a poem by Arthur Rimbaud. That is now decided. Thank you very much for reaching out and giving me your sentiment, your thoughts, and your ideas. It will be this poem by Rimbaud called Rêver pour l'hiver, which is literally dreamed for the winter, is the title of it. It has very special meaning for me and my partners, so that's going to happen. So this is the mock-up. Now let me show you some stitching. I will try and put this on something. And actually, I took it out of the hoop this morning, and I realized that I'm a good ways in with regards to the motifs. So here it is. Oh, isn't it nice? Let me try and show this in full. There you go. Okay, so I've been working on this part here. So this motif and these two half motifs have just been done this week. I'm currently working on this one. Let me do a close-up. Oh, this is so beautiful. I'm using all of the called for weak dye works because Karen Kluba, which is behind Rosewood Manor, is a genius with colors. This is absolutely gorgeous. And let me show you what I've actually, where I'm at, because I mean, I'm not too far away. So how can I do this? There you go. So you see, I'm currently stitching not this specific motif because I didn't really care about it. So I took one, I think one that was here, and this is right here. See, so this one is well underway, and it's this area right here. And then all I need to do to have the motifs completed is actually stitch this half one and this half one, finish the honeycomb frames, and then I'm done with the motifs. Coming along, right? And then I will be stitching this crazy awesome alphabet, and then I really need to decide what I want to do with regards to the texts or the words that I want to put down. But yeah, it's coming along. I mean, it's so beautiful. So I'm really, really happy. This is stitched 1/2 on a 36 count hand-dyed linen by XJU designed again. And this is roasted nuts, I believe. And I love it. It's just exactly what I wanted. So it's a beautiful neutral with some splotches of dirty yellow, which really gives it a vintage vibe that I love. Everything about this piece is lovely. I mean, it's kind of magic when you start a motif. I do it color by color, right? And so little by little, like one color at a time, the actual flowery motifs take shape, and it's beautiful. It's really, really beautiful. Look at this one. So this one's a little bit special. I don't know if you can see this. There's a little bit of backstitch, and then there are some Algerian eyelets. Oh, so beautiful. I don't know who said this. Was it when I posted it on Instagram? Someone commented that the combination of the purples and the moss green go really, or olivey greens go really, really well together, and it's true. It's a perfect combination. But all the combinations. I mean, this is probably my favorite motifs, and those reds are killing me. And those blues. I mean, everything is beautiful. I'm really, really, really happy. So this is Parchment Tapestry by Rosewood Manor. I stitch mostly at nights on this one. It's very easy because it's 1/2. The only thing I really need to be careful about is the tension. It makes it really, easier if it's really taut. But it's a joy, an absolute joy to stitch. I'm really happy. So this one is well underway now. I'm a little bit scared with regards to the text, but again, I've got some suggestions. Namely, Leah had spent a lot of time helping me out, think through my options, and then Ingeborg, A Stitch Too Far, suggested that I use the technique she used for Jane Austen's signature in a piece that she finished, I think, last year. And so I'm probably going to pick her brain if I go that direction. An option that Leah also came up with was to ask my beloved partner if he would actually write the poem on the fabric, which is extremely scary, but I think is an awesome, awesome, awesome suggestion. Maybe we'll go that route. We'll see. I'll have to discuss with him whether he's willing to try or not. We'll see. Next one is a restart. And some of you will probably be a little bit disappointed, as I am actually. Let me talk about this. Last weekend, Leah joined I think it was a birthday sale. I'm really sorry. I didn't pay much attention to actually the person it was for. I apologize. I'll probably put it on the notes in the description box below. But anyway, it was kind of a Chatelaine week for a specific birthday sale. And she posted on Instagram, I think last Saturday. And it really, it pushed me to pick up my Chatelaine. I have started Graceful, the Graceful sampler from Martina last October. I had worked a bit on it, and then I kind of got stuck. Something was off. I wasn't really enjoying the stitching itself, and so I brought it with me to retreat in Roden in the Netherlands, and discussed with the ladies there and trying to figure out what was wrong. And then I got some awesome idea as to how I should stitch it using some specific devices, and that was with the help of Kelly, the Evergreen Needle. And so I felt more confident. And then I picked it up again last week, and it wasn't right. I mean, the stitching is tedious. And I think now I know why. So let me show you the mock-up and the piece because it's been a while. So this is a printed copy of what the pattern looks like. So it's beautiful geometric mandala-like motifs, as Martina knows how to do them. Some backstitch, some beading, some cross-stitching, a quote, and then this absolutely gorgeous Gothic-inspired alphabet, which was what drew me to this pattern in the first place, and it's important for my restart. So this is roughly what the pattern looks like, and I will be showing you what I've done so far. So here's what I had done on a beautiful dark gray. Yeah, this is really true to life. Can you see against my wall how like awesome it looks? It's perfect. However, However, so I had done a little bit, right? With Krynic, with silks, I had converted almost everything, but I stayed in the colorways that Martina had chosen. I had my first stitches in Krynic, which I don't know if you can see, yeah, a little bit of sparkles here and there. Beautiful subdued pastel colors to go against this very dark fabric, which is really great. I think this is something about, I think it's probably a 32 count linen that I bought last year, I think. And it's 2/2, and the alphabet is 1/1. So again, I mean, a beautiful combo, as only Martina knows how to do it. However, I'm struggling, and I'm really, really struggling. And I've tried different things, and nothing works. And what I think the problem is, although I've stitched on linen before, I know, but I think the unevenness of the linen is bothering me, and especially for the back stitching. It's, I mean, I don't love backstitch, right? You know that, and it's just not enjoyable at all, unfortunately. And so when I picked it up last week, I thought, I need to let go of this. Some of you are gonna scream. It's not completely abandoned, but I mean, I really, I don't know, I need to let it go for now. However, I still love it, and the alphabet is like the most beautiful alphabet I've seen so far. And so what I did last week is, I'm not giving up completely. I'm going to restart, and I'm going to focus on the letters. So went in my stash, looked for an easier fabric to stitch on, and I stumbled across this piece of Ada, and it's an 18 count Ada, which is not my go-to fabric, but the color is beautiful, and it's in the Mystic colorway, and it's a picture this plus. So found this piece of fabric way too small for the whole piece. Thought, okay, I want to focus on the letters of the alphabet, and so what I'm going to do is pick up some of the letters that are my family's first name initials. And my family meaning my parents, my sisters, my 5 nephews and nieces, my crazy auntie, etc., etc. So I picked up the letters I needed, and I started, and I love it. Let me show you. Okay, this is blue, so there's a chance that you won't see exactly what the colorway is, but let me just, all right, not too shabby. Okay, so this is where I'm at so far. So since last Saturday, I've already stitched 2 letters, and I'm in my 3rd one. And guys, that is enjoyable to no end. Yeah, the color is, it's more tealy than that. It's less blue, a little bit more green, but it's not that bad. So here you go. There's a C here, and this is an N, and I'm currently stitching an E. It is stitch, again, 18 count Ada, 1/1. I'm using only silks, and in real life, people, these pastel-y light colors, they're like shining through the fabric. It's insane. And the delicacy of the letter designs, just, I love it. I really, really love it. And those are big, huge letter, right? There's like I think around 50 by 50 stitches, so big ass letters. Sorry, big letters. They're just beautiful. And again, I mean, the sheen of the silk. So what I did is, I'm taking all the silks that I had chosen for the whole piece, and I'm picking them one by one. They're mainly lights, and so they pop out on this fabric. This is, as you can see, these are lighter blues. It's lighter than that in real life, actually. These are very, very light greens. And then this is more of a kind of a very light peachy, light skin color kind of tone. You can't really see it, but yeah. Yeah, okay, the colors are going to be a little bit tough to show, but can you see I mean, the design is absolutely beautiful, and I'm enjoying this so much. Obviously, Ada is very easy to stitch on. Um, the Q-step makes it the tension perfect, and I'm enjoying this much, much more. So it's very disappointing because all of the design that we love from Martina are not there, and they will probably not be there. However, I've left some space in the middle here, and I'm toying with the idea of, I don't know if I can do 4 letters in a row. I think I can, and my idea would be to try and stitch some kind of the border, maybe to make some dividers between the letters, especially in the middle here, and maybe do a frame around it. Keep some of the bead ideas. I don't know. We'll see. Again, this is total improv. I just didn't want to let go of this chatelaine. Wanted to focus on what I really, really love in the design, and so I'm just winging it. And so far, again, I mean, stitching the letters is sheer joy. So I'm much happier, although I'm very disappointed to let go of the initial stitching piece. This makes me happy, and I think that, I mean, obviously this is supposed to be a passion and something we do for relaxing, for resourcing, for making us happy. And so if you have to like force yourself to do something, I think it's not worth it. So I'm much, much happier with this. Let me show it to you again. I mean, it's just insanely beautiful. Those letters are driving me crazy, and you know how I am about letters and words, and yeah, much, much, much happier now. We'll see what I do with the other piece. Maybe someday I'll pick it up again, and it won't be as much of a problem anymore. So this is the Graceful sampler by Chatelaine Designs. So these are the main projects I've been working on. And now is time for the finish that most of you probably have seen on Instagram. Although the pictures I had weren't the actual finish. So let's get to it. This is the African Queens by Vickery Collections, a pattern that was gifted to me by the lovely Linda Belmont. Lynn, I have met in Roden in April during the Dutch retreat, and she was crazy kind enough to send me heaps of things, and the first of which was this pattern by Vickery Collections called African Queens. So it's 4 beautiful ladies with crazy outfits. There are, I think, more than 60 different called for DMCs. And as you may know, I haven't gone with a DMC option. What was in the parcel that I received from Linda on top of this pattern and a piece of linen was Monsieur Sedas hand-dyed silk colorway Pride. This insanely beautiful, colorful silk, which encompasses all the colors of the rainbow, hence the name Pride. And so this is what inspired me to stitch the piece in a very different way than charted. And you have seen this on Instagram if you follow me there. This is what I came up with. I'm so happy with this piece. Sorry. There you go. Okay. So I'm not going to go through this in detail again because you've seen that in my, I think in my last update. I used Pride, so the overdyed silk, to do all of the skirts. So 1, 2, 3, and then I used it on the top here, on the fan here. And so basically what I did is I was inspired by, I think, Letitia and also Audrey Stitchy, which 42, to just think about the way, the orientation of my stitches. And this is what propelled me to use the silks. And in try to create patterns on the skirts using the orientation of my of my stitches. Sorry. So here's one way I did that, and then here is another way to create this stripy effect, and then here those diagonals, and it is just awesome. It really was so much fun to think this over and then wing it and then continue. And then apart from the so once I had stitched the dresses, what I wanted to do is use the some DMCs with colorways that would complement the actual silk, and then still respect the pattern in terms of shading, especially on the folds of the skirts, on the tops here. So as you can see, I used a series of yellows, of oranges, of purples, and of blues to actually replicate the actual pattern for the other elements of the outfits, and also for the skin tones. So there are two different types of skin tones, two darker ones here and then two a little bit lighter ones. And this I completely followed the pattern for that, even though I changed the colors a bit. And so it's, I mean, the effect is like so bright and vibrant and so very different from what I would traditionally stitch. I was extremely happy to dive in this, and I really just didn't think about it. I just went with it. And then I need to stop here and thank you for the backstitch advice, because I don't like backstitch. And in some cases, I don't even think it's necessary on the pieces. Although I can recognize that some of the pieces that I've seen on internet, especially I'm thinking of one pattern by Scott, from Barcelona, and Leah with her little coffee bunny. I know how much more life it can bring to a piece, but I really don't enjoy backstitch. However, I had to do some, and I was very, very grateful for the advice I got. So let me try and do some close-ups. Obviously in the fan, I did some backstitching, and it's much, much better that way. I also did some in this skirt here to outline the leafy motifs on the skirts, and that's really great. And then I use it, but this I don't think you can see. Can I? Oh, the light is not good. So I don't know if you can see, but here on the top there's, no, you can't see that. It's actually backstitch on top of the actual lady's top. But here you can see it better. So there's a yellow undertone. So the cross stitches is yellow, and then there's this motif stitched in a dark blue, and this is all backstitch. And I mean, it just makes a whole, new pattern on the actual fabric of the dress, and that is really, really cool. Another thing that you may not be able to see, I added some blingy Kreinik in those little swirly things, and then in the necklace, and all of the hoops. So the earrings are stitched with a blend of silk and Kreinik. I don't think I can show you. Yeah, the shine is not gonna come through, but it does show in real life, and I'm really, really happy with the result. I also backstitched this lady's hairdo, and I think it renders it really more true to how it could be on the lady's head. So yeah, and then last but not least, I want to say a word about the map. So the way it's charted, first there's an error, but so as you can see, there's a fully stitched map here. This is the Arabic Peninsula, and this is not in Africa. So the African continent is actually just the African continent. All the Middle East countries are not in the African continent. They're actually in Asia. Anyway, took this out. I had to ask Laura to redesign the folds of the skirt because they were hidden by the Middle East. So she did a great job by recharting these folds, and then, you know, respecting the shadings and everything. So I'm very grateful for that. And then what I did is I just stitched, these are cross stitched, I stitched the outline of the continent using Pride silk again. So it has this awesome rainbow effect, which I really, really love. And then, because I knew who this piece was intended for, what I did is I actually stitched the outline of two countries that are very important in my family. The first one is Mali, where my brother-in-law comes from, and so my nieces and nephews are both citizens, French and Malian citizens. And then I also stitched the outlines of Niger, where they currently live. So, and then, okay, so I stitched, what I did actually is I found a picture of Africa, of the map on Google, printed it out, put it to the size of the actual chart, and then drew the outline on the pattern, so that on the chart, sorry, so that I could easily count and backstitch both countries. So it's roughly where it should be. And the shapes are roughly the shapes of the actual countries. So we've got Mali, Niger. I've stitched an M here and an N here for both countries. Now, this is, as I mentioned on Instagram, this has been stitched for my soon-to-be 15-year-old niece. She's turning 15 on the 14th of August, so that's 2 weeks away now, 10 days away even. And it just so happens that our initials are the same as the country's initials, which is really cool. So the M is obviously for Mev or Marie, and the N is for Nassoum, and this Nassoum is my niece's first name. So that was the perfect trick or serendipitous moment. It was just absolutely perfect. So this little tiny M and N go both for the countries that are close to my niece's heart, and both for our first names initials, which is pretty cool, isn't it? So yeah, so this will be gifted in 2 weeks' time. I have to fully finish it, and I just want to finish with the idea that I have for this. I found some very simple organic cotton tote bags on the internet to buy. So they're off-white, very regular tote bags. And what I'll do is I'll applique the piece, so I'll probably cut it to a smaller size, but I'll just sew the piece on a tote bag, probably with my mom's help, and that'll be the birthday present for my niece. I'm so very happy about this piece. I mean, the process was, which is why I really didn't work much on other stuff. It was such a delight. The mix between using lots of DMC to render some shading, which I hadn't done before, inventing ways to stitch to actually add texture motifs to a garment was something obviously I had never done before. Having to work with backstitch and understand how important it can be and how better it makes a piece was new to me. Everything, absolutely everything. The process of actually determining what I wanted to do with the map, everything was, kind of finding ways to make this piece exactly how I wanted it to be without really knowing where I was going. I just, trudged along little by little, and the result is probably beyond my expectations. Actually, this is not really my style, and I'm so very grateful for Lynn to have thought of me, because it was related to Africa, and she knew how important Africa was for me and my family. And then from there, just make it really mine, and also make it meaningful for my niece. Everything in this piece is a bundle of everything I love about this craft. play with colors, invent things that are more you than the actual charted pattern. Um, it's just, it encompasses so much. Oh, one last word, by the way. I need to talk about the fabric, which shows, as always, very washed out, and it's really more of a dirty orange than that. It's perfect. I mean, the fabric is called Sahara. Okay, as you know, Sahara starts kind of here and goes up to the southern areas of Morocco, Algeria, and Tunisia. So Sahara is this huge band of desert. And obviously, northern Mali and most of Niger are really like smack in the middle of Sahara. Anyway, so this is 20 count Ada, Sahara colorway, hand dyed by an Etsy seller whose name is Heart Stitch Threads. I'm going to link the shop below because she has wonderful, wonderful fabrics in all types, by the way, Ada, linen, and even weave. And I had that in my stash, and I think it can't really be better than that, right? If the camera showed it in the proper colorway. So this is my finish, and I'm so happy with it. So very happy. So very, very happy. There you go. And I think this is about it. I am done with my whips and my restart and my finish, and it's pretty short. I want to thank you again and again and again for the love and support you're showing me each time I come on social media, even if it's not that often. The messages I got on my last Instagram post were so very kind and thoughtful, and I really greatly appreciate all the love that I've received. I'm very well. All is fine. The temperatures have gone down to summery normal temperatures here in Paris after an insane heat wave. So we had two bouts of heat waves, one late July that lasted a bit, and then 1-2 weeks ago. And I know some of you, especially in some parts of the US and in Australia, will kind of laugh at the temperatures, but we reached a historical, I think, 108 Fahrenheit, which is 42.5 Celsius. And people, we can't deal with that here. I mean, we don't have AC in homes, and we're not used to it, obviously. It wasn't good. It really, really wasn't good. But thankfully, it's much, much better now. It's really like lovely summertime. So I'm enjoying the city. It's now emptying because August is a big month of vacation for French people. So I'm going to be enjoying the 2 most empty weeks of my city, and I love that. There's like loads of people away, so it's kind of like more peaceful and relaxed, and that is great. I will be also spending a few days on the countryside and my sister's to celebrate my niece's birthday. I have no vacation plans, but I may travel a little bit, maybe in September or October, we'll see. In the meantime, I've got some stitching to do, which makes me very, very happy. Thank you again very, very much for joining me in this long-awaited update. Thank you for your patience, and thank you for your unwavering love and support. Until I see you next, stitch well, be kind, au revoir.